create a server using directly PPK. So these are all we discussed, right? Yeah. Anyone having any questions so far? Any challenges? Anyone having any questions? Any challenges so far? Yeah. So if you are on Linux OS and want to run Windows VM on it, as Linux not a remote desktop connection, so what is the process that I have tried with Mobile Extreme and Putty? Okay, Putty, but instance not connected. So on top of Linux server, how can we create Windows and all we'll see later. First of all, how to create Linux server, how to create Windows server, how can we connect Linux server, how can we connect Windows server, first you need to understand. Okay. And you tried Putty Mobile Extreme, but not connecting. You need to follow the recording, right? Step by step, you need to follow. So simply, I'm unable to connect means what we can do, right? So you need to follow the steps, whatever the steps we followed, right? Whatever steps I explained. So you can go through the recording 2 times, 3 times. You can note down the steps and you can start practicing. Okay. Yeah. So Putty also not working. I think Pradeep. Putty also unable to connect from Putty also. So I give you unmute option. You can speak up. I think Pradeep asking a question. So he's unable to connect Linux server using Putty or mobile stream. So can you raise your hand, Pradeep? I give you unmute option. So if any other challenges are you facing, any other challenges or only connectivity issue? Pradeep, are you there? I set up a password for Linux machine, but it was not being used. Yeah. You set up password. So what is the command used to set up the password? Deepak. So wait for a few sessions. So definitely I explain how to add password, how to add permissions to the user, right? How can we change the password? How can we change the user? So these are all will be covered. So wait for few sessions. Okay, Linux also will be covered in our session, our codes. Okay, yeah. Sudo password username. Yes, correct. Yes, that is the same command. So I explain. So wait for a few sessions. So definitely, yeah. So we'll discuss about Linux commands. Okay. Yeah, Abdul asking question. While creating an instance, is there any easy way to identify which one is the free tier? Okay. So we need to check. We need to check. So free tier servers only. We need to select free tier configurations only. We need to use. So paid services we should not use. If you use the paid service, we'll get the bill. Right. After that, if you're not responding to the emails, right? So account will be suspended. Better you can just search while creating the instance, just check that. So normally in real-time projects, we don't use the free tier. We always use the paid versions because the free tier is having only one CPU, 1 GB RAM, right? That is not sufficient for production applications. So always use the T2 medium RT2 large, RT2 X large. These are the higher configurations we use in real-time projects. Fine. Is FreeTire specified each time? Yes, yes, yes. No, no, no. Not like that. Not like that. Okay. Understand your question. So T2 micro is the free tier available. T3 micro also one free tier is available. T3 micro also one, yeah, one free tier available. Okay. So only one server will get only one. That you need to check it out and you can use that. Okay. For practice. So in real-time projects, as per the customer requirement, we need to create the resources. Fine. So any other questions, anyone? Any other questions, anyone? So I give you time for asking questions. Just wait for some time. Okay. Yeah. So today's concepts. Today's concepts. IP addresses. And also we discuss about security groups. Security groups. Okay. So these two concepts are very, very important concepts. Before moving to work on advanced concepts, okay, first we need to understand IP addresses and also security groups. Okay. Yeah. So what is IP, anyone? What is IP address? Anyone, what is IP address? Yeah, we already discussed, right? IP addresses, the basic sessions, basics, servers, networks, basics. We discussed about IP addresses, right? So what are the types of IPs available? So currently for cloud servers, how many IPs you're using? Cloud servers. So yeah, if any physical or virtual servers or laptop or desktop, we use only one IP, which is a network IP, right? So basically what is IP? IP is a internet protocol. To identify the device in the network, we need an IP address, right? To identify the device in the network, we need an IP address, right? IP stands for Internet Protocol. So currently we are using IP version 4. IP version 4 is 32-bit address. IP version 4 is 32-bit address, right? So maybe going forward, we use IP version 6. So currently we are using IP version 4, right? Yeah, so most of the organizations they're using IP version 4. Maybe after 1 year, after 2 years, we use the IP version 6. Fine. First of all, we discuss about IP addresses. So IPs are, yeah, so normally physical, virtual, or laptop, desktop use only one IP. But here, cloud side, we use two IPs. Okay. First one is public IP. Second one is private IP. Public IP and also private IP, right? So what is public IP? What is public IP, anyone? Discussed already. What is public IP? Public IP is a dynamic IP. So private IP is a static IP. So public IP is a dynamic IP. What is dynamic IP? So what is the dynamic IP? So dynamic IP is a IP which always change when we start server. IP will be changed. Dynamic IP is a IP. So it's always change when we start server. IP will be changed. When we stop and start server, right? So always IP will be changed. So, but private IP is a static IP, which is a permanent IP. Permanent IP. So this is a, yeah, this is a fixed IP. This is permanent IP. Static means so permanently IP. It will not be changed, right? So when until you terminate your server, IP will not be changed, which is a fixed or permanent or standard IP. Fixed or permanent or standard IP. Okay. Yeah. So this will not be changed until you terminate your server. This will be available. Okay. So DHCP server. So here we need to understand something here. So dynamic IP. So in data center, there is a DHCP server. DHCP. DHCP full form is dynamic host configuration protocol. Dynamic host configuration protocol server available in data center. So this DHCP server, what it will do? It will take back the old IP, will give the new IP when we start server. Okay. So for example, I have a IP address. Currently I'm using a cloud server. The cloud server is having one IP. So when I stop my server, so DHCP server take back that old IP, and when I start my server, it will give the new IP address. So like that, when we start server, IP will be changed. IP will be changed always, right? So backend DHCP server will take back the old IP, it will give the new IP, right? Yeah. So static, this permanent private IP is a static IP, which is fixed IP, so which will not be changed until you terminate your server, right? So what are the use of public IP? What are the use of private IP? Anyone? What are the use of public IP? What are the use of private IP? Anyone having idea? Stop means shut down, Abdul. Stop means shut down. Terminate means delete. Stop means shut down. So public IP required. So for normally in real-time projects or in real-time projects or in our practice lab also, practice console also. So this permanent IP, this dynamic IP is mainly for to connect server views public IP. Connect our server to connect the server, we use public IP, right? Yeah. So here only for connectivity. So public IP importance here is only for connectivity. So once we connect the server, so this IP will be available for private IP will be available for internal communication. So private IP is to communicate internally, right? So public IP purpose is to connect our Linux server or Windows server. We use the public IP. So once we log in into the server, always use the private IP address, which is a static IP, which is fixed IP, right? Yeah. So for example, let us go back here. AWS.amazon.com. So now I'm able to log in my console. So click on EC2, click on instance. So currently this server, Docker server is in stopped state, right? Stopped state, right? Yeah. So stopped means shut down. Abdul, you asked this question. Stopped means shut down. We can start again. The server, if you want to start, you can start again. Okay. Yeah. So now click on launch instance. I want to create one instance. Yeah. So here I want to create prod server, for example. Prod server, production server. I want to create Ubuntu. Select Ubuntu 22.04. Inform changes. Scroll down. T2 micro only. Key pair. Any key pair you can use. Any key pair you can use. Okay. So now select existing security group or create new group. Okay. So here I want to select the existing security group. This one I want to select. So here 8 GB storage, one instance, large instance. Yeah. Now the instance is in running state. See here. So this is the prod server which is in running state. Okay. Now this server is having two IPs. You can check it out here. Public IP, private IP. Just copy public IP, paste here for understanding. Copy private IP. Yeah. So this is my public IP. This is my private IP. Okay. So this is permanent IP, which is a fixed IP, static IP, right? So this is a dynamic IP. Dynamically, the IP will be changed when we start server, right? So now go back here. So select your server, go to instance state, stop instance. I want to stop this instance. Click on stop instance, stop here. Once I stop the server, what will happen? The IP will be taken back by DHCP server, which is hosted in the data center. So here, once the service stopped, IP will be gone. This IP will be gone. Now the service stopping. Just wait for 1 minute. Yeah. Now it is stopped. See here, there is no IP address here. The public IP is gone, right? So taken back by DHCP server, which is available in data center. Now, this private IP is not changed, right? Just refresh here. Just refresh here. Select your server here. There is no public IP, but permanent private IP is same IP available. Same IP. Right. So now I want to start this server again. The server I want to start. Go to instance state, stop instance. Now the instance is in running state. Okay. Yeah. So here you can check. This is new IP address which provided by DHCP server. So this is not old IP. Just copy this IP, public IP, and you can compare with this IP. See here. So this is old IP. This is new IP. So always DHCP server, what it will do? It will provide the new IP address, right? When we start server. So what is the use of that? What is the use of that? What is the use of that? Just a minute, please. Just a minute, please. Yeah. So here, DSIP server always, yeah, give the new IP address when we start server. So yeah, due to this, what is the use of this? What is the use of this? So security, and also this public IP is free of cost, right? But every time if the IP is changing like this, what will happen? Everyone will be confused. Developers, testers, right? So DevOps engineers, everyone will be confused. So for example, today IP has been changed, right? So developers, they try to connect server, but server is not connecting. Again, there is a ticket. They send email, unable to connect the server, right? So to avoid all these things, yeah, so my client asked me to assign elastic IP in place of public IP, right? So permanent IP, my client asked me to assign permanent IP in place of public IP. So in that case, what we will do? So we have one more IP. So in that case, we have one more IP, which is elastic IP, elastic address, right? So elastic IP also a static IP. Elastic IP also a static IP, right? So what is static IP? It is a fixed IP. Again, it's a fixed IP, right? Yeah. So elastic IP is a static IP. In place of dynamic IP, we can attach this elastic IP to the server, so that when we start server, IP will not be changed. This is a fixed IP. But so you'll be have a question. You may have a question that so can we use private IP in place of public IP? You may have a question, which is can we use in place of public IP? Can we use private IP address? Can we connect server using private IP? No. So this is a basic entry question. Okay. Entry asks you. So my dynamic IP is changing every time, public IP. So can I connect my server using private IP? No, that is not possible. So we have to generate one public IP. We have to generate one elastic IP from data center that we need to attach in place of public IP address. Clear, right, everyone? Now, so how to generate elastic IP? How can we attach the elastic IP in place of public IP? So how can we check that IP? How can we release the IP? How can we yeah, detach IP? Let's try to understand here. Okay. So elastic IP is a static IP, which is not dynamic IP. Yeah, elastic IP is not free of cost. In real-time projects, elastic IPs are not free of cost. For now, for practice, we can use so 2 or 3 IPs. We can use 2 or 3 IPs. Right? Yeah. Yeah. Let us go back. How can we generate elastic IP? How can we? Yeah. So attach elastic IP to the server. Let's try to understand here. Go back here. So currently we're using public IP, right? So scroll down here. Scroll down. Now network and security. So in the EC2, so open the EC2 dashboard. In the EC2 dashboard, scroll down here. Yeah. So here network and security, right? There is a elastic IPs. The network and security. There is a so click on elastic IP. Elastic IPs. Now allocate elastic IP address. Allocate elastic IP address. Click on this. Yeah. Now see here region AP South 1, which is a Mumbai region. So if you want to give any tag name, you can give for easy understanding. Okay. So now here name prod server IP, production server IP. Okay. Yeah. So click on allocate. See here, the elastic IP is allocated here. Elastic IP is allocated here, right? So this is the elastic IP address. Just copy this. You will see and save here for comparing with other IPs. Okay. This is elastic IP. So these are the public IPs and private IPs, elastic IP. Okay. So 3 dot 111 dot 184.50. Okay. Now this IP address I want to attach to the server, prod server. How can attach? How can we attach or allocate? Okay. Associate or attach both are same. Go back here. So now go back to instances. Click on instances. So here, this is a public IP, dynamic IP, right? So when we start server, the IP will be changed. But my client requirement is IP should not be changed. So if the IP is changing every time, so everyone will be confused. That is why my client asked me to assign permanent IP in place of public IP, right? So in that case, what we will do now, in place of this dynamic IP, I want to attach elastic IP address. Scroll down here, scroll down. Click on elastic IPs. Now select your elastic IP. Go to actions. Go back to instance. Go back to instance. Refresh here. Refresh here. Now go back to elastic IPs. Refresh here once. Yeah. Now select your IP address here. Go to actions. Now see here. Associate elastic IP address. Associate elastic IP address. Click on this. Now interface, network interface or instance here. So network interface also we can use here or else instance. So this IP I want to attach to the my instance, right? So now scroll down here. Now instance. So you need to choose the instance here. We need to choose the instance here. Click here. See here. So currently the prod server is in running state, right? So on the fly, we can attach this elastic IP address without any downtime. So without any downtime, we can attach the elastic IP, we can detach the elastic IP address. Okay. So what is downtime, anyone? What is downtime? Downtime. Downtime is a maintenance time. Maintenance time, right? So without any downtime, on the fly, we can attach elastic IP, we can detach the elastic IP. So here we selected instance. Click here, instance. Now this server is in running state, right? Prod server. Select this. Private IP, no need to select anything here. You can keep as is. Click on associate. Once you associate, elastic IP will be associated with the prod server. So now we can see the associated instance ID. Once we attach elastic IP to the server, we can see here, this is the associated instance ID. This is the server ID. So this is the private IP address 170.31.5.50. See here, right? Now what I will do, so once I attach this IP to the server, go back to instance, refresh here, refresh here. Now see here, 3.111.184.50. This is the elastic IP address. Now I want to stop this server. I want to stop this server. So once I stop this server, IP will not be changed. IP will not be changed because this is not dynamic IP, right? So this is a permanent IP. So now select your server, go to instance state, stop instance. Click on stop. So now the instance is stopping. Once the instance is stopped, we can check the IP. IP changing or not, we can check it out. Can you see now, everyone? IP changed or not? So this prod server IP changed or not? So IP is available, right? IP is not changing because this is not a dynamic IP. This is elastic IP. Elastic IP is a static IP. So this IP will not be changed. You understanding, right, everyone? Yeah. Now I want to start this instance. I want to start this instance. Start instance. Now the instance is being ready. Yeah. So now the instance is in running state, right? Till IP is not changed. So we can refresh here. IP is not changed here. See here, IP is not changed. So 3.111.184.50. See here, stick IP is not changed. Fine. Yeah. So as per the client requirement, so we need to allocate one elastic IP from the data center and we need to associate that elastic IP to the server as per the client requirement. Okay. Yeah. So once you attach this elastic IP to the server, IP will not be changed. So this is permanently available with the server. Clear, right, everyone? Any questions here, anyone? Any questions here? Yeah, so normally in real-time projects, once we create server, once we hand over to project, so they start working on the server, they start the development, they prepare the code, they prepare the applications, developers, okay? And they ask us to deploy. So by using DevOps tools, we can deploy the application, right? Yeah, so once the project is delivered, once the project is completed, okay, again, they ask us to terminate the server. Right? So as per the request, so we need to go ahead and terminate the server, right? So here, for example, the project is completed. We hand over the server to project, so the project has been completed. Okay. Once the project has been completed, so now they ask us to terminate the server. So in that case, before terminating the server, first we need to release the elastic IP address from the server. We need to detach first. We need to detach the IP, which is a deassociate from the server. So after that, we can release the IP. So even though if you terminate the server, nothing to worry about. So you can directly terminate. So later point of time, the IP should be released. So IP will be available in your console. That should be released. Okay. Yeah. Now, so someone asking question here. Dinesh. Okay. So why can't we use private IP key instead of elastic IP? Private key. Can we use private key instead of elastic key? Private key is different, right? Key is different, elastic IP is different. Key is a security layer, extra authentication. IP is a, yeah, it is a IP address for to identify the device in the network. So IP is different, key is different, right? So now, as per the request, I want to terminate the server. Will happen we assigning the same elastic IP address to the different servers at the same time with servers. So one IP, one server only. One IP, one server only. Right? We should not assign one IP to 10 servers, not like that. How many free elastic IPs we can create? So we can use 2 or 3. More than that, don't use. Okay. How many free elastic IPs? Okay. For practice. Yeah, 2 or 3. Maximum 2 or 3 IPs we can use. Practice. So once practice is completed, you need to make sure everyone release the elastic IP. Otherwise, we'll get some charges. We'll get some bill. So if you leave that IP as is, so for 1 hour, 2 hours, you can use and you can release the IP. Like that multiple times you can use. But if you attach the IP, if you leave that IP for 1 week or 10 days, so some charges will be applied for 1 day, 2 day, 3 days, or 1 week maximum. So 1 hour, 2 hours you can practice. Nothing will be happen. Okay. How to release? I'll show you. Wait for a few minutes. Yeah. So now this server is having elastic IP address attached, right? Yeah. Now, so project has been completed. So the project team asks us to remove the project team asks us to terminate the server. So before terminating the server, so I want to detach the IP from the server. Okay. For which what we will do, again go back to elastic IPs. Click on elastic IPs. Select your elastic IP. Go to actions, deassociate elastic IP. Deassociate elastic IP address from the server. So before terminating the server, first we need to deassociate. Okay. So deassociate means so server will be detached from sorry AP will be detached from server. Okay. So click on deassociate elastic IP address. Deassociate. Now the IP is deassociated. See here. So there is no associated instance ID here. You can check it out. So here instance associated instance ID is not there here, right? So this IP is idle now. This IP is idle now. Yeah, this IP still available with you with your account only, right? So now server is in running state. I deassociate the elastic IP address from the server. But what is the situation for this server? What will happen? So here still it is showing elastic IP, right? If I refresh, what will happen? Server is in running state. IP has been removed. I removed the IP address. So what will happen here? Anyone? Server పరిస్థితి what will happen here? So if I remove IP on the fly without any downtime, so server is in running state, right? What will happen? Nothing will be happen. So automatically one public IP will be attached to the server. Will get public IP. Yeah, someone Manideep saying. So it will get public IP. Automatically, the AC server send one IP to the server. Okay, so now you can refresh here. See here. This is the dynamic IP. Again, dynamic IP associated with the server. Copy this. This is the dynamic IP address. Clear, right, everyone? So once we deassociate the IP from the server, still IP is available with the server. So sorry, still IP is available with the console, our console. So here, scroll down, elastic IPs. See here, still IP is there. This IP we can attach to other server, or else make sure the IP should be released. If you're not using the IP, you are not using the IP should be released. So how can we release the IP? Select your IP, elastic IP, go to actions, release elastic IP address. Release means, yeah, it will, yeah. So we can send this back to data center. Okay. Click on release, release. See here. Elastic IP address released, released. So I two times I click. That is why it is saying like this. Two times I click here. That is why. So elastic IP address released. This IP back to data center. Clear, right? So no IP here. No IPs. Clear, right, everyone? Any questions here? Ask your questions. If you have any questions, you can ask. Let's suppose we created one server using EC2. After some time, we got to know that we have given some incorrect information and we edit the server. So which information you want edit? Edit. Which information you want edit? Say, yeah, I give you unmute option. So you can speak up. Which information you want to edit? Can you raise your hand, Manadip? Yeah. You can speak up now. Which information? Configuration? Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can speak up.
Let's suppose in place of T2 micro, we have given T2 smart.
Okay.
We go and edit.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, on the fly, without any downtime, on the fly. So I'll show you that. Okay. So for example, yeah, we selected T2 micro server, but client require T2 medium or T2 large. So without any downtime, on the fly, we can modify the configuration.
Okay.
Okay, I'll show you that. Wait for some time.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Thank you.
So other question. I think Anurag raised a hand. You can ask Anurag.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we have to create a elastic IP and in the for deassociating elastic IP from the EC2 instance, we have to just delete that elastic IP. That's what, or we have to release.
Yeah. Good question. First, we need to deassociate from the server. Elastic IP, first we need to deassociate from the server. So after that, we can release the IP. So you cannot directly release. That will not be allowed.
Okay.
First, we need to deassociate. So we need to detach from the server. So after that, we can release the IP from the console. It will go back to IP will go back to that center. Deepak, you can ask your question.
Hi, Ram, this is Deepak here. I have one question. Suppose using this elastic IP, when IO operation is going on, okay,
Yes.
it will run another 15 minutes,
Right.
and
Yes.
someone disassociates that elastic IP from the server, what will happen?
Good question. Yeah. So some small interruption will be happen. What is that interruption? For example, you connected RDP, you connected RDP, but IP has been changed. IP released elastic IP. So RDP gives some pop-up. Okay, your IP has been changed. Please reconnect. The same way, if you are using putty, it will give pop-up. IP has been changed. Please reconnect. So application will not be down. Whatever application is running, or load test is running, or anything happening, anything background running, that will not be disturbed. But only your connection will be interrupted. RDP or putty. That we need to reconnect. Okay. Yeah. Nagarjuna, go ahead, please. Any questions, Nagarjuna? Yeah, Abdul. Nagarjuna is not speaking. So Abdul, you can go ahead, please.
By the data center, or like we can have our own IP address as well.
Yeah, we need to get from data center only, right? So normally, even though, yeah, so public IP also will get from data center. Elastic IP is not free of cost. Once you associate, once you allocate, so we'll get the IP from data center. So which they are having the range, data center range. Within that range, we'll get the IP. Example 10.0.1.100 to uh, 10.0.10.1.1.1000. So in that series only, we get the IP. So data center to data center, different ranges they maintain. So within that range, we'll get the IP.
I see. So we cannot have our own custom IP.
Custom IP is normally, yeah. For example, we are handling four projects. We are handling four projects. Okay. So we are using AWS platform. For the four projects, AWS gave different ranges. For example, so in that range only, for example, one range we have 500 IPs, one range we have 300 IPs, one range 200 IPs. So in that range only we can get the IP, no customized IPs. So without which we cannot generate other IPs. So within that range only.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Fine. Now this IP is having currently public IP address, right? Yeah. So automatically DHCP server provide one public IP, right? So once we deassociate the IP, so this server automatically get the public IP, but the backend applications will not be interrupted. Only connection will be interrupted. Connection means either RDP or putty. So we need to reconnect. Fine. Yeah. So nodes you are asking, right? So definitely I provide you nodes. Maybe once I come back to Hyderabad. So currently I'm not in India. So by by Friday, I'll provide you notes. Everyone. So by Friday, I provide you notes. Friday after the class. Okay. Fine. So next concept here is security groups. Security groups. I just want to remove this. Okay. So we can keep as is this server. Fine. So next concept here is security groups. So what is security group, anyone? What is security group, anyone? Security group is a virtual firewall. Is a Virtual firewall. So what is firewall, anyone? What is firewall, anyone? Firewall is a network security device. Okay. Yeah. So what is the use of firewall? Why we require firewall? What is the importance of firewall? Okay. So normally, for example, if you want to connect your office network, we require VPN, right? VPN. What is VPN? VPN is a server. VPN is a server, right? Which allows you to connect your office network, right? So only firewall, yeah, VPN allow only authorized persons. So in that VPN, yeah, so they configure firewall. Firewall allow good traffic. Firewall deny the bad traffic, right? As for the firewall rules, the firewall will allow deny the traffic, right? Yeah. Now let us go back here. So currently, see here, this server is having security group. Click on security. Select your server. Go to security. Now scroll down here. This is the security group we attach to the we attach to the servers here. So security group. This is the security group. DevOps with AWS 7M SZ. So this security group is having only TCP port number 22 open. Only 22 open. In this server, I want to deploy Jenkins. I want to deploy Jenkins. I want to deploy Kubernetes. I want to deploy Terraform. In this server, I want to deploy different tools, right? So Jenkins required 8080 port should be open. Jenkins required 8080 port should be open. Kubernetes required other ports should be open. So Docker required other ports, Terraform required other ports. Every tool is having different port, right? So, but here only 22 port is open. In this case, so how can we create a custom security group? How can we attach the custom security group to the server? Let's try to understand it. Okay. So custom security group, how can we create? How can we connect? Okay. This is very, very important concept. So security group is a virtual firewall, right? To allow deny the traffic, we use the security groups. Okay. So firewall is a network security device. Fine. So currently we are using one security group, which is a SSH security group, right? SSH authentication. We are using TCP port number is 22. Here in this server, I want to deploy Jenkins, Kubernetes, Terraform, right? So different tools I want to install here. So in that case, so 22 port is for only Linux. We can connect Linux only. But Jenkins required 8080. There is no 8080 here. That is why what we have to do. So we need to create one custom security group that we need to attach to the server. How can we create and how can we attach? Let's try to understand here. Now, scroll down here, scroll down here, scroll down, click on security groups. Click on security groups. See here, these are all security groups available. These are all security groups available, right? So currently we're using this security group. Okay. So this security group is having only 22 port. Only 22 port inbound rules. If you check here, only TCP port number 22. But this is not sufficient for the server because I want to deploy different tools on the server. Okay. In this case, what we have to do, click on create security group. I want to create new security group. I want to attach to the server. Okay. So click on create security group. Security group name, AWS DevOps with AWS all TCP SG. giving the name all TCP SE. Okay, this description also I want to give same. VPC is default VPC. I want to use here now. See here. So outbound rules by default enabled here. Outbound rules by default enabled here. See here. Outbound rules means outgoing traffic. Outbound is outgoing. Outbound rules by default enabled. So inbound rules not enabled here. Inbound rules not enabled. So I want to enable the inbound rules. So outgoing traffic means outside. It's go out, right? For example, if you want to go out from your home, you no need to get permission, right? Normally, for example, if you want to go from our home, go out from home, right? You don't need any permission. Normally, just go and come back, right? You can go and come back, right? So if you want to, for example, if anyone want to come into your home, come inside of the room, they need a permission, right? Right. So that is why by default they gave outbound rules enabled here. Outgoing traffic enabled by default. We can communicate outside world anytime. But if you want to allow, so if anyone want to come inside of your home, they knock the door, they come inside, right? Inside of the room, right? So for which we need to enable the inbound rules. So outbound rules by default enabled. So outbound rules are all traffic, right? Yeah, inbound rules. Click on add rules here. Click on add rules here. So custom TCP, they are showing something like custom TCP, right? So now I want to give, for example, if you want to connect Linux server, what the port number should be enabled here? Anyone? If you want to connect Linux server, what is the port number we need to enable? 22, right? We know that. So port range 22. Select anywhere. Okay. So next one, if you want to connect Windows server, what is the port range should be enabled? Yes, 3389, not 3589, 3389. So click on add rule here. Click on add rule here. Yeah, RDP port number. So first of all, we need to select here SSH, which is a 22. Next one, RDP. RDP is 3389. So if you want to deploy Jenkins, 8080 should be opened. So for which 80 or 8080, which is a HTTP port number. HTTP port number. See here, 80. Like this, every time we need to enable 11 port, right? So every time we need to enable 11 port. That is big challenge. That is big challenge. That is why what we will do. Instead of creating all ports one by one, I create, click on add rules, select all TCP, all TCP. All TCP means, see here, 0 to 65535. All the ports will be enabled. All TCP means 0 to 65535. All the ports will be enabled. Okay. So here I select anywhere from any network, any range. Okay. Yeah. So this SSH, RDP, HTTP not required here. I just want to remove first one, second one, third one also. All TCP is enough. 0 to 65535. From any range, any network, we can connect. Okay. So you understanding that, everyone? What I'm doing here? So outbound rules by default enabled, all traffic enabled, but inbound rules we need to enable. So here I enabled all TCP 0 to 65535. All port ranges are enabled here. Between 0 to 65535 are all the ports. So 22 is available, right? Between 0 to 65535. And 3389 available, right? Between 0 to 65535. 8080 available, right? So like this. So 0 to 65535, all the ports are enabled here, right? Now give the tag name, see here. Is the secret group name, click on create security group. Now the security group has been successfully created. Click on security groups. See here. This is the security group, which is all TCP security group. Okay. So in this, see here, go to security inbound rules. So all TCP 0 to 65535, all the ports are enabled. Clear it, everyone? Yeah. Now what I will do, I want to attach the security group to the prod server. So currently prod server is having SSH port only enabled, which is 22 port. Now I want to enable all TCP to the prod server. How can we enable? So go back here to instances. So currently this server is having only SSH port is enabled, which is a 22 port, right? But my requirement, my client requirement is, client asked me to allow all the ports. So in that case, what we will do, select your server, go to actions, click on security, change security group, change security group, click on this. Now, currently, click here, sorry. So currently this one. So currently here, only this port range is enabled. Only 22 port is enabled with the server, right? But my client requirement is, client asks me to attach all TCP. So in that case, I can search here. Yeah, see here, DevOps with AWS, all TCP SG. Select this, click on add security group. Now see here, this is the all TCP SG. So once we attach this, we don't require this one. This one is not required. Second one, click on remove. So now click on save. Is it clear to you, everyone? So once we create the security group, that we can attach to the respective server. So one security group we can use to number of servers, n number of servers. One security group we can use to n number of servers. One key pair we can use to number of servers. But one IP we can use with only one server. You need to understand this. So IP address should be unique address. IP address should be unique address. So only one server we can use that IP, respective IP. But security groups, key pairs, we can use with n number of servers at a time. Clear it, everyone? Now, so currently this server is having, see here, what the security group prod server, see here. So this is the all TCP security group attached with the prod server. So in this server, we can deploy Jenkins, Kubernetes, Docker, Ansible, Apache Tomcat, whatever you want. Clear it, everyone? Yeah. If you have any questions, you can ask now. So next we have, we'll be having a project. Okay. So AWS project. So we'll be having a AWS project. Okay. So next session, in next session, we'll work on AWS project. So before going to AWS project, so we need to understand Linux basics, right? So next class, next session, which is on Friday. So tomorrow, day after, we'll not be having a sessions because so tomorrow and day after, I'll be moving to other state in Vietnam. So I'll be busy tomorrow and day after. So I'll be back on Thursday evening to Hyderabad. So Friday and Friday and Saturday. So classroom guys, you can come down to classroom. Friday and Saturday, you can come down to Friday onwards. So classroom guys, you can come down to classroom, right? Yeah. So Friday, I provide you all the class notes, right? So Friday and Saturday, we'll be working on, we will work on Linux sessions, Linux concepts. So after that, yeah, we'll work on project, AWS project, AWS EC2 project. So which is a very important project. On Monday, we'll work on project. So which is a customized AMS. So how can we deploy the applications? How can we hand over to project? So what are the requirements they get? So how can we handle the requirements? So once we receive the requirement, how can we handle the requirement? So it's very easier, very simple, very easier. Okay. So Monday we'll be having a project. So Friday and Saturday. So Linux will be covered. Linux topics, Linux commands, basic commands, advanced commands, deployment commands. These all will be covered. Okay. Once you understand the Linux concepts, then we'll work on project, EC2 project, which is very core project, very important project. We are in any questions, Srini? You can go ahead now. Is there any difference in T2 and T3? Yes, there is a small difference. You can check it out. You can check it out. So you can check the configuration. Yeah, today I'll be traveling to other state in Vietnam. So that is why, yeah, tomorrow, day after, will not be having any sessions. So next session would be on Friday. Friday, Saturday. So Linux concepts we discuss. After that, we'll be having a project on Monday. Okay, so don't miss the sessions from Friday onwards. Okay, which will be moving to little advanced concepts. Okay, little bit advanced concepts, which are very important concepts. Yeah, so Prasad, can we add more than one SJ2? Yes. Yes, you can add more SJs. So currently we have one SJ, right? Security group right here. You can add more SJs. 3 or 4 or 10 security groups can add to the server. How can we add? Go to instance, select your instance, click on actions, security, change security group, search here. These are all security groups, right? Select Alt CPSG, click on add, click on save. See here. So currently here we have 2 security groups attached to the server. Just a minute, I'll show you. See, look at this. Alt CPSG and also DEVOPS with AWS Alt CPSG. 2 SGs. Here it is showing 2 IDs. So I want to attach one more security group. Select your server, go to actions, security, change security group. Now, here you can choose one more security group. LBSG. Add. See here, LBSG also added here. So currently 3 security groups here. Refresh here, refresh. See here. So here two IDs, here one ID, here two IDs, here one ID. You can see here. All TCP SG, DevOps with AWS, all TCP SG, ELB SG. So like this, n number of security group you can attach to the server. N number of, not only two, not only three. When you want to add, you can add. So not required basically because we enabled already. We enabled all TCP, right? In all TCP, all the ports enabled, right? No need to enable other port numbers here. Other ranges. Clear it, everyone? Any questions? Anyone? So make sure everyone practice. Make sure everyone practice these concepts. So here, Friday and Saturday, yeah, 1.5 hour, 1.5 hour. We can cover Linux, right? So Linux concepts are very important. So for DevOps and cloud engineer, okay. So in real-time projects, user management is important. User management is important. File permissions is important. Filter commands important. File editors important, right? And also find command and also basic commands, advanced commands, deployment commands, and also dangerous commands. Few dangerous commands are available. So these are all very important, right? So make sure everyone attend the sessions on Monday, on Friday and Saturday. So Monday we'll be having a project which is very important project, real time, yeah, task. So in real time projects, so we'll get that requirements. Okay, so you need to understand that. Fine. Any last question? So I'm going, yeah. So it is still we have 10 minutes time. If you have any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, we can wind up today. We add more SGs. Yesterday, you gave a different default users for okay different OS type. There are many more OS type. There here place to find all default users to. Yes. Every OS is having default user. Every operating system is having default user. Once we log into the server by using default user, after that we can create customized user. We can create customized user, and we can attach to the. We can add password to the user. So I explained 5 operating systems only, right? So most of the time we use 5 operating systems in real-time projects. So Windows, Amazon Linux, CentOS, RHCL, Ubuntu. These 5 are very core operating systems. So 2 IDs means 2 security groups. 2 security groups. Where to find all default user list? I give you. Wait for some time. So we don't require actually. We don't use all the operating systems. So most of the time this 5 only. Okay. Fine. So we can wind up here. So notes will be provided on Friday. Okay. So you can go through the recording and you can practice. So today we discussed about IP addresses and also security groups. These 2 concepts are very important concepts. Make sure everyone practice. Fine. Yeah. So we can wind up here. Yeah. We'll connect back on Friday. Fine. Thank you all.